Here's a leadership truth that no one wants to admit. Moving slowly in leadership loses more than time. It actually loses trust with your team. Hey, I'm Dr. Jeff, and if you've ever found yourself stuck in analysis paralysis, then this video is for you. Because people sometimes say slow decision is safe in leadership, but slow decision making isn't wisdom, it actually causes risk. And in today's video, we're going to cover this: why slow leadership fails, what decision fatigue actually looks like, and how to move from overthinking to agile, confident leadership. So let's get started. There is a hidden cost of delay in decision making, because if you wait too long to decide, your team starts making up stories in silence on your behalf. I'm going to say that again. If you wait too long to decide, your team starts making up stories in silence on your behalf because they don't have the information. Sometimes we have great intentions with leadership hesitation. Maybe we want to get more data, and that's sometimes required in our positions. Maybe we need to think it through, and I do agree with that. There are times we need to think it through. That's good leadership to actually do that. Let me ask one more person. Sometimes we have to get all of the facts. But if we don't set boundaries around taking the time to answer all of those questions, we start to lose momentum in our decision making, and we don't want to lose momentum, and we don't want other people speaking on our behalf as leaders. So, what's the cost? Again, momentum will actually die. Innovation actually stalls, and truth erodes because people lack trust in our ability to lead. So, Google searches are proving this very pain point even today, because people are typing this: why do leaders delay decisions? How slow decision making hurts performance when leaders wait too long. Those are actually Google searches that are occurring right now, because this is a pain point in leadership. And if you've been there, you know that slow isn't safe. It actually is silent failure. So let's talk about the trap of analysis paralysis in leadership. Overthinking actually doesn't lead to better outcomes. It leads to missed opportunities. And searches, again, are booming for analysis paralysis in leadership, decision fatigue. And why are people doing that? Because leaders today are overwhelmed because they have too much information, too many resources, too many places to go, too many options. Or maybe we have the fear of being wrong. Or maybe we have the desire for perfection. So I'm going to debunk that desire, because we are not perfect and will never be perfect. We will fail in our decision making. So what's the balance here? What's more of a failure? Actually making a decision quicker, or taking too long to make a decision when the momentum's dying, and then when we make the decision, we're going to lack influence with our team? That's something to think about, because perfect decisions do not exist. Progress is better than perfection. Progress is better than perfection. Stalling doesn't save us. Actually, it weakens our influence, as we've been talking about. So I want you to ask yourself this question: have you been avoiding decisions? Are you taking too slow in making a decision? Do you have the questions that I asked in your decision making, but you don't set parameters around those questions and lose momentum and lose influence in your organization? Are you avoiding the responsibility sometimes that comes with decision making because you don't like the conflict that decision may cause? That's sometimes why we delay decision making, because we don't want to take responsibility for those decisions. So we must go from delay to decisiveness. And here's how we can do that. How to break free from slow leadership. Number one, we've got to set boundaries on the time. You can ask more people. You can search for additional data. You can become more informed, but you have to set a parameter, and I have to set a parameter around how long we're going to research that information. And then when we get to that parameter, maybe it's 24 hours or maybe it's 2 days, we make a decision. Number two, we must empower other people to decide. If we have to do other people's position, then maybe they're not the right person in those roles. So we've got to empower people and trust people to make decisions and work with them. Speed comes from trust and also delegation. And then there's something called using the 70% rule. So if you have 70% of the information and you're waiting on the other 30%, sometimes you'll never get that 30% of information. So when we get to 70% of information, we just must make a decision because we've gotten most or a majority of the information that we need to be decisive. And then we have to learn to fail fast, but to learn faster. And recently I sent out an email to the CEOs I serve talking about the importance of being able to pivot. So if I fail or something's not working, I must pivot quickly in this society that we live in and the organizations that we serve. We must be able to pivot and be decisive and keep making decisions for our teams and for our organizations. So agile leadership means that we can course correct and not wait. So fast doesn't mean foolish in this video. It actually means being faithful to the momentum that your team needs. So what's one decision that maybe you've been delaying upon? Maybe you are that person that waits a long time for the 30% and we never get that information. Maybe you're trying to make a decision for your career or make a decision for personally, and you try to get all of the information and you've had this goal for 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years, and you're still trying to get to that perfect spot to make that decision. If you've got most of the information, it's time to decide, because we will fail, but we must be able to pivot during the course and course correct and keep making decisions till we get to that goal that we desire. The same thing is leadership in an organization. If we fail, we must pivot, make another decision with that course that we have in place, our vision, our mission, our purpose, at the forefront of everything that we do, communicating that all along and bringing our teams with us. But if we delay and we're indecisive, we never make a decision, our teams will start speaking on our behalf. I do not want them to be my voice because they're not hearing my voice. I want my team to be my voice because they're hearing my voice, they know my decisions, and they know my mission and vision for what we're trying to achieve. So I hope this video has meant something to you, because it's so important that we debunk this myth that slowness is safety. There is something to sometimes pausing, but we can't pause too long. We must be agile and be confident in our decision making. Hopefully this helps you, and if you know someone that is stuck in slow or stuck in analysis paralysis, please share this video. As we serve together, Dr. Jeff.